Sounding alone, shatter me like glass, covered in scars, but roses are coming through the cracks. Find the pain away, my bed is in ruins, need you in my veins, don't know how you do it, come and live your more, vandalize my heart.
You know what? I changed my mind. We're going to do something a little different for today. We, Bing, are going to be headed. I guess I could have just gone ahead and warped there, but we can run. It's fine. So in the last episode here on the D-pad, where I'm Rick in Sonic Frontiers, we went and we fought. No, we didn't. We didn't fight anything. We fought our equipment. I guess we did that. Let me get some more rings real quick so I can get to the actual max here. Where did that go? Right here. Are there enough? It's going to be close. Not quite, but very close. Yeah, so we finished off Kronos Island. We got all of the memory tokens. I remember the name this time. We beat all the action chain challenges. I got that right this time as well. And we also got all of the new Cocos. And, well, this being episode 99 and all, I figure let's tee ourselves up for a very special episode 100 by going ahead and progressing. Oh, it's so funny with these with the outfit. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of these cutscenes, and we're going to play through the new final boss. I say new. I think it's the same. It's the same two fights, but I believe that they have readjusted the actual fight. So let's see how it goes here. Whoop. Let's see if it's noticeably different from what it was before. There you go. Oh, I was guarding, but I guess it didn't want to let me, so that's fun. Whoop, there we go. So far, this is still about as... I still don't understand this. So this is what happens when I block it. And if I don't block it, I get knocked back. So is the answer to not block it? Come on. You get stunned for like a weirdly long time. I forget if that was like that before. All right, so phase 2 has begun. So far, not noticeably different. Alrighty, okay. Our four-winged angel up to the skies again. Yeah. Looking like a punk rock parody of a death metal band box. All right, so this is definitely more involved than it used to be. Still not all that difficult to actually make contact with him, though. Yeah, this is still essentially the same. I think we're back into the holding pattern again. I think we're now officially into the part where we wait for the song to decide we're allowed to continue. Because I'm not doing any damage anymore. Block it. Get knocked back. This part is still very lame to me. That, with the moon out, that makes it very moody too. I forget. I don't know if it must force this to be nighttime because it was daytime when we approached earlier. But, yeah, the fact that the game forces you to sit there essentially until the chorus plays out is like, come on, man. Either find a different way to stitch this stuff together or something, because this is, like, ridiculous, in my mind anyway. Like, is it literally that we're waiting for the chorus to finish so we can get to the guitar solo? Onwards to new horizons. All right, so now we've left the chorus. No, what? Why are you focusing on that? Gun? I think so. I think it's gun time. Yeah. So they literally force you to sit through a full verse and chorus before you can do this, which is hilarious. All right. And there we go. There's down goes Supreme again. Okay. Yeah, I don't really know. slightly improved, but like realistically there were two big problems here. One was that its health bar was not, high, like large enough to make it even a little bit of a real challenge if you have maxed stats. Like, granted, you can get through the game without bringing your stats up that much at all, but like if they're maxed out, this is like silly how easy it is to beat Supreme. The other problem is that holding period, the part where you just kind of sit there and you wait for the song to get far enough to let the boss battle finish. Like, that feels super ridiculous to me. Okay, can't skip this. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, essentially they brought that boss from like a 3 out of 10 to like I'll say like a 5 out of 10. I think there's still some real improvements that need to be made there. And it's not just like, oh, it's got to be more challenging if I'm at max level. Like, I get that maxing your level means that you're not going to be, having as much of a challenge in general for like anything, right? You max your Pokemon out, you're going to steamroll the Elite Four. Like, I get that, but I don't know. There's a certain amount of that that's just like, all right, if you get in there, you can just chain your attacks and be done.
Go. Fulfill your function.
Sadness. Sonic Team, you better actually follow through on the story that you wrote for this game and have like a Tails game, a Knuckles game, an Amy game, and like some kind of meaningful follow through on Eggman's character.
Where it regains its full strength.
Because like seriously, this is positive direct like motion for all of these characters. Let's do something with it now. If we come back and we've got, Sonic's Speedway,
Be careful.
and Eggman's a giant prick again, and Tails is begging Sonic to help him, and yada yada, I'm going to be really pissed. Because, like, ooh, you can see the edges of the polygon of the Earth there. Uh-oh, that was a little awkward. Bum, bum, bum. It's the end.
He took your home world. He took
Alright.
your lives. Are you going to let him do it all over again?
This is the weird, like, it's
I
funny.
need your help.
This speech,
We can end this.
I get that it's a speech to, like, the spirits of the ancients and all of that, and it's a very moving little speech there, but if the idea is that this thing is the embodiment of, like, death or oblivion or what have you, the idea of taking revenge on I can't even say personified, but, like, a sentient death elemental feels a little odd. Like, not even in the sense of like, oh, death is necessary and therefore it's just kind of like, what are you like? Yeah, that's right. Get revenge on death for being the reason that you died. I don't know. Something about it feels a little off now that we've actually seen more of like, ooh boy, that was a little close. Now that we've seen a little bit more of what's actually going on here, I think my one regret on this, as far as like a real challenge, like it is challenging, don't get me wrong. And if you fuck up, it takes forever to get back through it because the battle is about 5 minutes long. It feels like a little too much of the battle is just alternating back and forth. Like you're just kind of going, right, dark and light and dark. The last couple phases are a little better about that because they have like, conflicting stuff that you're dealing with all at the same time. Like this stuff is a little bit better. Like this is definitely better here. Alright. Okay. Now we gotta get real close to the middle. And you just kind of soft alternate back and forth to make sure these don't get to you. Do this and knock a bunch of them out anyway. Excellent. All right. I'm not going to paste the speech on here again. If you want to see the speech that the end gives, I added it in post to the I believe the episode is literally just called The End from our original runs. That would have been, God, I don't know, around episode 80-ish, 84, 85, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, unfortunately. Yeah, this feels a little more random and a little bit more dangerous. There we go. Alright. Cool. Getting that stuff spit at us like there. Getting close. And there's another one where, like, my biggest note about this battle is I don't like the fact that there comes a point where you're just sitting here for several minutes, like, maybe not several minutes, but, like, well, I got a clock here in the room with me. I'm actually going to time how long it takes once the speech begins before we actually do something again. Like, it feels like something that would be more appropriate for, like, a, I don't know, fucking Mushihime-sama style, like, Toho battle, which, like, granted, this kind of is, right? But, I don't know, something about it. This is the part that always fucking gets me. Ooh, there we go. I found a good spot this time. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna get through this without fucking dying? There we go. Alright, next phase. Whoop, I didn't even see that one. Alright. I can't tell if I'm still doing damage right now. Because also, we're restricted to, like, the song, so... Oh, boy. Oh, barely got out of the way of that. I think... Yeah, okay. So now we sit for a while.
You glitter. You fly about me like a gnat.
Pew!
I am inevitable.
There we go. Alright, so it's only... You know what? It was less than 50... We're still not doing damage, though, because we don't do damage for the rest of this. If anything, all these bullets here are just for the sake of me not dying by flipping between these, right? All right, now it's time for dodgies.
You are not victorious.
All right.
No matter what form I take.
All right, this part sucks because it will do that little back and forth bit, which I've definitely gotten hit by a couple times. For this. Ooh, that was a snug one there. All right. How we looking?
The end comes for you all.
Okay. There we go. About a minute 15, roughly. That we're just dodging and not doing damage. And I would imagine that the idea is that maybe that's a time limit. Like, if you don't do enough damage up to this point, then you just get hit and you lose. Or, like, if you don't do enough damage to the point where the speech happens, you just get to take free pot shots at it for a while.
Now or never.
Like, I imagine you have to get it to this point. All right, time for the meter that a bunch of people get wrong the first time, including me. Yep. 2. There we go. Shooting Star Sonic Man. Yep. So apparently Ian Flynn has talked about that they were going to... that he had made a pitch early on in the process that this was going to be a hypersonic moment. That essentially they were going to... He was going to ask the Ancients for one last bit of power, similar to how he does at the start of this, and be turned into hypersonic for this fight. I don't know if the Ikaruga-style battle was going to still be the same way, or if it was just going to be hypersonic, sending blasts of energy, or what, but... I don't know. A lot of people were like, oh, man, Sega ruined it. We should have had hypersonic. I don't know if I agree. I feel like hypersonic is a tough sell, and, like, granted, like... They could make there were writing ways that they could have made that work with this, to be clear, but I don't know, just people going hypersonic equals good as a default was just like, that feels like a bit of a reach. I feel like, I don't know. Granted, Super Knuckles is referenced by Knuckles in this game at one point, so I don't know. Hypersonic just feels not distinct enough from Supersonic, and that would have been the thing that I think would have needed to happen for me to feel like it was worth having Hypersonic here. Like, I would have needed to see, like, a real reason and a real distinction between Super and Hypersonic. More than just, oh, he's more powerful, and he glows the color of the Chaos Emeralds, and he has a pa-ching attack. Like, that's not enough for me, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But, I don't know. And our ending with the shooting stars. I kind of wish that they had kept the same background and just you tilt down. Just switch out the background entirely. Maybe there was a timing issue on it, I don't know, but it would have been cool if there wasn't a crossfade between the two, if it was the exact same falling star background. I don't know. Is this the first time that one of Eggman's creations does something explicitly heroic in the end? Because, like, Eggman himself has temporarily switched sides to stop a much larger catastrophe from happening. But I'm trying to think of, like, Metal Sonic straight up becomes the villain in Sonic Heroes. So I don't know. I don't know if there's I'm trying to shoo the cat away. She's trying to get at my goddamn dinner. Pull this to the side. Don't even think about it, cat. No. Come on. Nope, go that way. There you go. But yeah, so that is... Were there any changes at all to the end, or were the changes just to Supreme? I didn't notice literally any difference on the fight with the end. There may have been some slightly modified... there might have been some slightly modified segments of, like, the battle with how, like, the bullet hell stuff worked, but I didn't notice any. I don't know. Which means that, once again, both phases still have the issue of just sitting around for, like, a minute or so waiting for stuff to continue. Which is, like, maybe my number one gripe about both of those battle phases. So, like, that's kind of awkward, unfortunately. I don't really know. Yeah, I feel like they would have really needed to do some tweaks there to make that better. And it kind of didn't tweak the part that they needed to. I don't know. But yeah, so that is the new updated final boss fight. Maybe Extreme has, like, a different situation. I really don't know. But from what we see here, yeah. Also, this is such an odd... Like, I guess this is, like, a song from Sage to Eggman is the idea, right? But I don't know. Yeah, I hope that the next step here is not to wait another 4 years and then get Sonic Frontiers 2. I really want them to make a Tails game, a Knuckles game, an Amy game. I really would love if they did that and it wasn't an every 5 years thing. It's kind of a bummer that, like, you know, we now are in a holding pattern with so many of these franchises where, oh, The Legend of Zelda, where the next game we get will be about 6 years from now. The next Sonic game, probably 4 or 5 years from now. Maybe we'll get a spin-off in the meantime. And it's like, man. Like, I get that game development has changed. But also, not everything needs to be a hundreds of hours long open world experience. And that includes Zelda, which really, I think, kicked off... Like, Skyrim kind of kicked the doors open in a lot of ways. And then sort of just... It stood there and it kept re-releasing, and not a lot of... Like, GTA got bigger as well. GTA 5 around the same time, actually, went and, you know, did... I guess for GTA 5, it's more of a sandbox than an open world. But, you know, same general gist there, right? And then I don't know that there were any more significant entries in that kind of genre before Breath of the Wild came around. And same thing, Horizon Zero Dawn... I mean, Phoenix Immortals kind of is in a weird spot in between Breath of the Wild and Horizon as far as, like, its vibe. And, like, everybody suddenly started going open world. Pokemon did it. Sonic did it. Kirby almost did it. It didn't do it. I almost wish they did. There are people wondering if Metroid Prime 4 is being expanded from a Metroidvania to, which is such a silly term for Metroid itself, but, like, regardless, from being a 3D Metroidvania to just a straight-up open world, which, I don't know. I feel like one of the benefits in a lot of ways for Metroid is its claustrophobic feel. and the ability to like find hallways and passages and all those things. And that's harder to really like. It's doable. Tears of the Kingdom is kind of doing that right now, where the Breath of the Wild formula was like, the breadth of. It's more like the breadth of the wild. But Tears of the Kingdom has like all these cave systems and interwoven passages and things, and like that's a little bit more interesting from like an exploration standpoint. And like I'm curious if they're gonna do that with Metroid.
That was fun.
Yeesh. I feel like that helps reinforce to all three of them, like, yeah, maybe going our own ways for a little while is for the best. If Sonic's first reaction here is to crack a joke.
Cream and sticks are free. Make a road trip out of it.
Legit, I hope they make a game that is Amy and Cream and Sticks. I want Tails to have a Tails Adventure 2, complete with the Metal Tails or Mecha Tails or the little yellow robot. I want Knuckles to have like some kind of fucking mystery adventure game. Like have his be all about exploration and stuff. I guess Tails Adventure was also like an exploration and almost Metroidvania-y kind of game. But like at absolute minimum, I would want them to remake Tails Adventure. Or hell, you know what they could do? They could actually maybe get away with this, and this is like the bare minimum of what I would want them to do with these. For Tails and for Knuckles, full-on Resident Evil style remake from the ground up Tails Adventure and Knuckles Chaotix. Like both of them completely from the ground up, or hell, for Knuckles Chaotix, even like reimagine it in 3D or something and like figure out maybe the combi ring, not combi ring, the whatever the link ring thing they have there is. The combi ring is what combines all of your rings so that when you get hurt, it's like a few large chunks, but the tether between them would maybe not be the best thing in the world. But like regardless, Tails Adventure getting a proper like full remake, especially in 3D, I'd be fine with that over like a fully new experience for like than what we've gotten before. Same thing with they got a brand officer named Ivo. That's fun. Same thing with Knuckles. Like if they did Knuckles Chaotix and like treated that as a new, because I talked about it during Sonic Heroes, where those characters are considered like new essentially as of Sonic Heroes. Like they're essentially not considered a continuous set of characters from Knuckles Chaotix, despite the team name and despite them all knowing each other and stuff. Essentially, the idea is that they kind of are rebooted there. Do Knuckles Chaotix where those are that version of the characters now, where it's just like, they have a detective agency. There's a mystery on Neutrogic in Neutrogic High Zone, which I think is supposed to be on Angel Island. But yeah, do it like that. Have that be the thing where it's like, okay, cool. This is Knuckles Chaotix recanonized essentially in that form. And then same with Tails Adventure. Just make that, spruce it up, expand it, honestly, and like, boom, put that out there. And you don't have to put the full weight of a, massive, 100-hour experience or like 4 or 5 years of development time on all of them or something. Like, I don't know. I think there's room to make those happen without it being like, all right, now we wait 3 years for the next one and 3 years for the next one. And I don't know. I feel like game development, Hollywood's much the same way. Film development, where like game development has gotten so, I don't want to say bloated. Bloated's wrong. I don't want anybody losing their jobs. We are several minutes into a credits sequence at this point. Like, but I feel like there's so much emphasis on these games being the biggest fucking thing ever. And like I get that there's a balance too, right? Like you don't want shovelware. You don't want, another Sonic Spinball probably. But I don't know. I hope that it's not just that we get one new Sonic game or two new Sonic games, one of which is 3 hours long every 5 years as the franchise's new momentum, right? Like, it would be nice if, like, I get we're never going to go back to the way games were in the 90s where, every franchise was pumping out a new game every year, sometimes more than one. Like, the Mega Man franchise it hit a point where it was putting out 2 or 3 a year. Like, Sonic was also, for what it's worth, Sonic was putting out a bunch a year constantly. From the beginning. 1994, I think they put out 4 games, maybe 5, between the Genesis and the Game Gear Master System. Like, I don't know, it's sort of the timing of this game, which feels like a new beginning, is kind of, you know, ending point, and, you know, where we are with the franchise plays and all of that. It's very interesting that all this kind of seems to have the synchronicity of being at a point where game development has slowed down so much. There's a lot of problems with crunch and all that. Like, that's obviously an issue too. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone wants to make these vast, colossal experiences, and it's like, we don't, you know, that's fine. Those are fun, but it's also fine to occasionally have a game that's only, you know, a 10 or so hour experience for $30, maybe 40 or something, depending on replay value. But like, I don't know. I think it'd be nice if it was a little less, you know, distant all the time, right? Here we go. This is only the second time I've actually seen this this little stinger, so my best guess here. There you go. Yeah, so that's the other thing too, is apparently that symbol is going to be explained in the final DLC, which makes me feel like that's supposed to be a graphical representation of Sage specifically or something, but like, I'm betting that the end result of all of this is going to be that Sage is now Eggman's computer AI. Like, that's just what her role is now, is that she lives in the computer, and that's how he stored her and saved her, and she's going to be essentially, like, literally an artificial intelligence that, like, communicates with him similarly, but probably better than, like, Orbot, Qbot, and all that stuff. But so the reason we did this was that we could save our save data right here. And that means that when we... Oh, we can't do it that way. We have to go this way. So that means we now have New Game Plus. So why don't you guys come back next time, and we are going to be speedrunning an any % run of the entirety of New Game Plus with our maxed out Sonic the Hedgehog, and we'll see how that goes. It's going to be interesting. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.
Standing here, the way ahead's becoming clear.